Today we're in Italy for the start of the International Touring Car Championship for 1986. General Motors mean business. Peter Brock is over with the Commodore for a number of races. And also Allan Grice is there, fast in a straight line, a determined driver if an unsponsored car.
We've simply got more power than Brock. I'm a second and a half quicker than him here so far, and I think I'll stretch that a bit further. We were 2 seconds quicker than him at Bathurst. My car goes quicker in a straight line, and you don't need a lot of driving skill to hold the accelerator down on the floor.
Jean-Louis Schlesser, 34 years old Frenchman, starts from pole position, but already Allan Grice is showing himself to be very much a man to be watched, being the fastest of the Commodores. And as the pace car pulls off, always used at the rolling start in all the international touring car races, into the lead it's Rover, Schlesser as expected. Behind him the first of the Volvos, the second Volvo up, and then Grice and two more Rovers. Grice up to third place now, and pressing hard. Brock too is going well, but Grice now past the second of the Volvos and hard on the tail of the Rover. 1 lap later and he's ahead. An Australian leads in Europe for the first time.
I was right because in Europe I was doing 300 and 500 mile races every couple of weeks and testing and learning tracks and tyre testing for Yokohama. The crew, Les Small and the boys, were making the car quicker all the time, making it stronger in the towers, you know, which so you could crash over curves. We were all learning. We knew that we couldn't compete with the same tyre that Brock had, so we had to have a different manufacturer. And Yokohama just did a marvellous job. They supported me in Europe financially, virtually paid for the testing, and their technicians worked tirelessly.
At Donington Park in England, wintry weather greeted the crews and the teams. And already before the start there was talk of a tyre problem. Weaving to warm them up was the order of the day, and the pace car pulled off to see Rovers pull into the lead with first and second places. Grice slotted in behind them, and although the Volvos had practiced well and were in 4th and 5th position at the start, they began to fall back. Brock, the two BMWs, and Allan in the third of the Rovers were only too anxious to take over where they'd left off, however. The Fords were going well too, but it was the Rover dominating the race as the weather got worse and worse. Soon those Yokohamas began to work, and Grice closed in. As Grice begins to close the gap, there's no doubt what's going on in the Rover pit. Suddenly, the Rovers are split. Grice has managed to get himself between them, and Brock is right on their tail. There are slower cars in the way. The light is beginning to fade. The skies are filling, and Grice is in the lead. Now it's Brock's turn. Ahead of Allan Grice, he takes over the lead. Walkinshaw tries to fight back. Brock's tenure of office, however, there is not to be a long one. He has tyre problems and is in the pit for a change. Grice too has his problems and is falling back. As Brock goes out of the pits, back into the lead goes Rover. Tom Walkinshaw once again dominates the race. Grice holds on as best he can, but must soon come in for a tyre change. Meanwhile, Win Percy, his feet getting cold, is waiting for the Rover's scheduled stop. The cold hand of fate, therefore, has struck at Volvo, leaving the number 2 car in 3rd place. The BMW in 2nd, Grice retiring, Brock finishing further down, and a win once more for Tom Walkinshaw and Win Percy with the Rover.
Walkinshaw, in the factory Rover Bastos, or Bastos Rover, had a Michelin tyre, and I had the bias Yokohama tyre before we went on to radial, and it was snowing and sleeting. It was bitterly cold, and when the sleet and come down and make the track wet, the Michelins would retain the heat. So Walkinshaw would pass me, or Win Percy would pass me and start to steam away. and then as the sleet dissipated and melted and I could get grip back into my, or temperature therefore grip back into my Yokohamas, I'd pass him again. And the sleet had come through and I'd lose temperature and he'd pass me. That went on, I don't know how many times, but many, many times.
Just a week after the snows of Donington, it was the snows of Hockenheim in Germany. And still again, the tyre temperatures were causing concern. The champion Lindström gives us his views of the situation.
Still, the Rover is the car to beat, I think. And the Holden, I think, can do very well here. But they also need the luck because they have some small problems, which I stopped them in the other races.
The car's running extremely well. Allan thought it was running better today than it has all week, so he's hoping.
Hoping indeed, as far as the Australians were concerned, on a fast circuit that sees the Rovers out in front at the start. But right with them is Grice once more. He tries for the inside even before they get to the first corner. By the first of the famous Hockenheim chicanes, he is right with them there, but so for that matter is Volvo. Ford too are going better and well up ahead of Brock. Grice is through, and the Volvo tries to follow but can't quite make it. Cecotto has suddenly come up to fourth place too. An effort on the inside sees Volvo through into second place. Holden first, Volvo second, Rover third and Volvo fourth. The number one Volvo in Cecotto's hands runs with a very small master cylinder to ease the braking pressure on the injured feet of the Venezuelan, who so badly hurt himself at Brands Hatch in a Formula One car a couple of seasons ago. Dependent on the weather is how the feet feel. Today they feel obviously very well. He outbrakes Schlesser. Volvo's now second and third, and the stage is set for one of the finest battles of the season. Australia versus Sweden. Granberg pulls out and pulls back in again. Not this time. Another good look as they go out into the country. This time, he's made it. Bouncing over the curbs, Ulf is ahead. Right behind him, though, it's still a huge effort by Grice to hold off Cecotto. The little Australian, with a minimum of sponsorship, is putting on a tremendous performance here. He's back in front. Alongside him there, Granberg looks for a way through but can't find one. And this was the way this battle went on, for lap after lap. Suddenly, Cecotto got a little bit fed up with the view from behind, let alone the smoke screen. Volvo turbo power works here. Or does it? Now being pressured by both the Volvos, out front it's getting a bit ragged. There's some pretty tough driving out there, but it's all good, clean fun. Smoke screens as well. Suddenly, Cecotto is through into second place to see what he can do. Past a Toyota. Granberg this time sitting behind the Venezuelan. Still smoke pouring off that locking front wheel. And suddenly he's back in front of the Venezuelan again. This was tremendous racing. There was no doubt whatsoever that as far as Volvo were concerned, they were in with a chance, however, when Grice slid wide and into the lead went Granberg. Cecotto tried everything he knew to follow through here, but wisely stuck behind for a little longer. He was being more careful with his tyres and with his brakes. Amid the slower cars, there was some sorting out to do. But when Granberg got sideways and on the grass, the other two caught up with him again. Crabwise there, the Holden in a power slide has Cecotto right on his tail. More smoke, more wear on that front tyre, and suddenly Cecotto is up past the Holden as well. Would he take his turn at the front? Holden and Volvo side by side as Grice once more had got back there. And this was the way it was for 20-odd laps. Slower cars, however, are always a problem on any circuit for quick drivers. One of them, on the far side of the circuit, caught out the Australian. Suddenly, he disappeared, and it was Volvo first and second, and a badly damaged Commodore.
Ulf Grunberg is going well in the Volvo, but I think it great excitement for the Holden team.
Yeah, we have a very fun race, me and the Holden. It was changing place 2 and 3 times every lap, and it's fantastic. It's a long time I have so fun in a race. I'm sorry for the accident for the Holden, but anyway.